overall.
Welcome to the semi-final between Team Elite and Revival. I am Enne, and with me casting are Byron, Willa and Drigger. Welcome.
Well, I mean, first things first, we better update you guys on what's happened. Unfortunately, Team Elite have had to forfeit their game 1 after Lordio had a virus on his PC. They had sorted it out, but they have unfortunately had to forfeit the first game of the series. So, Team Elite, they're now facing a 1-0 deficit. However, if any team's going to break it back, it is going to be Team Elite. They're currently the undisputed champions of the Shell 1, and in the Shell 2, they haven't dropped a series yet. They've only dropped 1 game. So I feel like this is a really, really good team, and it's still an incredibly hyped matchup. It's just unfortunate that that first game was slipped away. Trigger, how are you feeling?
This is it, boys. This is it. If any team is fucking gonna win this split, it was gonna be Team Elite. They've already dropped a game. The underdog story is here for Revival. I'm hype. You're hype. Everyone watching's hype. Let's go. We've already seen all 6 bans. A big threat to Lordio with his Aatrox ban. Motor Joe is going to be not on the Ornn, which is his go-to tank and delight. We've seen how well he can perform on the Gragas when he's not against John Joe in the top lane. I'm hyped to see what his first pick is going to be and how much priority goes on this mid lane, because Agrita versus Lordio, talk about a mid lane matchup. What do you reckon, John Joe? Not John Joe, Byron.
Ha! Hello, I'm John Joe. Alright, let me just quickly get my stats up for you guys, but this matchup is incredible. They're like the polar opposite of me in terms of their play. You look at their damage participation, they both do 32% of their team's damage from that mid lane. They are huge carries. Agrita has the highest gold share of any mid laner in the quarterfinals with 23.95%. So he takes nearly a quarter of his team's gold just to himself in that mid lane. He's a huge carry for Revival, and if anyone's going to shut down Lordio in this lane, it's going to be Agrita, who gets resources fumbled straight into him.
It's interesting to see now these first couple of bans. The Renekton from Joe, he popped off in the final against 7 Deadly Sins in the Shell 1. He's picked it into the Urgot, and then Delight has picked up the Sejuani. They've already got their engage. They've already got a strong winning lane in the top lane you'd expect. With that counter pick, it's now how Revival choose to counter it. Lee Sin's being hovered, it would be hype for the semi-finals, but Xin Zhao, it's the safer pick, and he does have that 1v1 advantage now in the jungle, so it's either look to prioritize with that and the Galio pick. That says to me they're going to look for a lot of bot lane plays on the Paxel versus Inequitas matchup, which we're all expecting Kevin to win. So we'll see what Lordio's picks for his team here, because they do have counter pick in the mid, and they may both be saving their bot lane for the later stages of the draft.
Yeah,
Could we see the Akali?
Yeah, the bot lane is a big point to look at, because whilst we talk about the mid laners being huge gold sources for their teams respectively, you look at the bot lane and both of them operate on fairly low gold. So it's a big stark difference. I wasn't expecting to see a Galio out of Agrita. However, Galio, whilst you can't play it the Byron Villa way, which is you don't do damage, you just sit back and you tank, you can also play Galio in an incredibly aggressive manner, thanks to the fact that his Winds of War, his Q right now, does insane amounts of damage to anyone who gets hit by it. He can really easily win this lane against Nico. It's going to be a very, very even matchup, and 2 ignites, I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes down. But like we say, Galio, great roam pressure, and having an Urgot in the top lane versus a Renekton, that's another explosive matchup that can be very easily tipped with a Galio ultimate. The only thing we don't know is the bot lane right now, and even then, I'm looking at all these drafts and they're both looking really good.
But what I like from Elite 5, not Elite 5, Team Elite so far is that they've banned the Brand, they've banned the Zyra, they've banned the Caitlyn. They don't want to play against a pushing matchup. I would imagine they're going to ban the Ashe because it's more comfort pick for Paxlow. And they're probably going to pick something like the Sivir, maybe the Kai'Sa, maybe even the Vayne, and look to play really safe in this lane. I can only assume. They've already got the mid game in Nico, the early game in Renekton. With a champion like a Vayne, a Sivir, or a Kai'Sa, they could really look to snowball that bot lane, which would expect them to win anyway. Impure fool. And the Vayne gets banned. So there is going to be no Vayne in the bot lane this game, which I was really hoping for. I'm expecting to see a Sivir or a Kai'Sa, at least basing off the meta that we showed in the Centurion Academy versus 100 Cobra game. But it will be interesting to see, because Paxo's Ashe is available. We'd expect him to pick it with that engage alongside the Jhin and the Galio. There's a lot of follow-up. That's troll. Kevin, don't have the Anivia. Baron, you're going to take that, mate.
I'm perfectly fine with that. Alistair gets locked in though, and that's really useful because when you're looking at right now, Xin Zhao, Galio, Urgot. These are all champions that want to go in on you. What can Alistair have? He has a headbutt. And as soon as they try and engage on someone like, in that class, AD carry, we don't know who that'd be yet, or maybe even Lordio and Nico, you can just bonk him straight away. Or you can flip that around, and if Sejuani gets a really good ultimate, a good Glacial Prison, you just go in on that. You got a WQ combo, your E, you trample, so much CC. But on the other side, you have a Tahm Kench who can stop someone who gets cut out very instantly, with just gobbling them straight up, and an Ashe who can just ult whoever comes into your line of sight. And if someone gets caught out of position, it becomes a lot harder for Team Elite to really deal with it. Because with an Ashe, a Galio, a Xin Zhao, and Urgot, there's so much engage on the side of Revival that I'm kind of scared. But they also have really good. It's like they have a really good engage and disengage. My only worry is sustained damage over the team fight.
What do you think about the bottom matchup? Who will win between Ashe and Tahm Kench and Tristan and Alistair?
I'll let Trigger take it away. He is the bot lane expert here.
Well, the way I see it is, Paxo was like, well, damn, I can't get my Caitlyn. We've not got the brand Desira. I need to pick something that I can reliably play. The Ashe was predicted. The Ashe was picked. We expected it. The issue is, Alistair was already picked. Ashe has not got into Alistair whatsoever. Sure, you can poke him down a little bit, but he's bound to take bone plating, so that's not really going to do a whole lot in the lane. That's why Tahm Kench was picked. We saw it in both games in the Centurion Academy versus 100 Cobra game, where Tahm Kench was picked against the Alistair. It does stop the engage of the Tahm Kench play as well, but I think that's just a very passive lane to allow Paxlo to survive. Pick the Galio again to put extra pressure in that bot lane to make sure that they can't look to dive it. And, I mean, they gave an Equitas Tristana, and I think that's game, set, and match when it comes to draft. But it'll all be about, for me, how Motor Joe plays that top lane. Because we saw how well I'm Too Stone played on Urgot yesterday. If Blueberry Haze can put that same level of performance in, then Renekton's not going to be able to snowball, and then they lose that level of team fighting and that level of pressure that you have across the map. So it will be interesting to see. As long as Tahm Kench can keep the Ashe away from the Sejuani and the Alistair, you never know what Revival could pull up in this game. The underdog story is hype. Let's go, boys.
Hell yeah, and
go for the underdog story.
Yeah, and that top side, like you said, is so important because Urgot and Renekton, very big champions in the early game. Renekton may be slightly more early game favored, but if any of them get a lead, they can solo it incredibly well in a side lane. And it means that if they get to a point where they solo it hard enough, it means that they can go and challenge into side lane and force 2 or more members to go down to them. Especially if you're running a Galio comp, let's say you have to force 2 members to go somewhere else, the Galio's not going to be able to do much. It's a great way to shut down the Ashe, the Galio, the engage, if Motojo does get ahead, because then he can just drag them away from fights, send them left, right, and center, and they can't really focus on just one big fight, and that's really useful for them. However, where I want to look is this jungle matchup, because junglers, they impact the whole map, and my question is that top lane right now, that seems like a big target for both junglers to go and gank, because you want to get this matchup ahead. You want to, well, half you want to get it ahead, half you don't want the other side to snowball. If you can get your top laners to snowball in this game, it is so important because then you get control of the side lanes, and getting control of the side lanes is one big key thing to win a game of League of Legends. Delight, he has a Glacial Prison, he has so much CC in the Sejuani. If he can lock down the Urgot hard enough and Motojo's able to get enough damage, easy gank, easy kill. But on the other side, Wavy Lad playing Xin Zhao, another great ganking jungler. He can get you knock up, he can do a hell of a lot of damage himself, and not only that, he can very easily turn a fight with his ultimate, and so very important to keep your eye on Xin Zhao here.
What is also really interesting for me is that Revival plays with double TP on Galio and Urgot, so they probably want to focus more on the macro play. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, we know what Galio can do on a side lane. He can easily have pressure and react to those 4v3 plays in the mid lane, just naturally with the global that he's got. TP allows him to do that too. The big question is, what can Nico do? Again, another throwback to yesterday's games. We saw Nico get some really good teamfight plays off, but ultimately he wasn't successful enough. How much gold can this Nico pick up, and how much effectiveness can the Nico get? Against the Tahm Kench is going to be difficult to get off, and with the front lines of Urgot and Galio as well, that's going to be the big issue. So there is going to be a lot of question marks in these lanes, but I think, as you say, that Xin Zhao versus Sejuani matchup is going to be key. Because if Delight gets any of his lanes ahead, they can look to snowball just with hard engage and with the gold lead that they would have. But Xin Zhao is going to have a lot of pressure. He's going to have the 1v1 advantage. Scuttle priority should be his. And a lot of questions are going to be answered in this game. Delight says he's the best jungler. Wavelad, underrated when it came to the power rankings at the start of the Shell 2, has certainly proved a lot of people wrong. But against SRG and PEX, Revival have got the first big test here against Team Elite. And that's what makes this match so exciting. Because they are the only team so far in the Shell 2 that have... And we're talking about 100 Cobra, who absolutely demolished Centurion Academy. and obviously Team Elite, who everyone thinks are going to win the tournament. So that's what makes this game so exciting. They're already 1-0 up. All they've got to do is win one game against Team Elite, and Wonder Kids did it. And Revival make it to the finals to face 100 Cobra, a matchup that no one thought would happen.
Yeah.
Team Elite, 2 wins away. It's going to be tough.
But, Trigger, I have to say, you're hyping this up incredibly, but the thing is, get your head in the Revival mental right now. If you see yourself, you won 11, you kind of feel a little bit more pressure. You're like, okay, we really need to win this game, guys. And like, I understand that shouldn't be how they feel. They have an extra game. They almost have that little cushion behind them. But Revival, they like you said, they face SRG and PEX. Both those teams weren't really rated high by the community. Now, I'm not saying anything whether they're good or bad, because I can't really comment on that. But they weren't rated high, so this is what a lot of people have said their first big challenge. And now they're 1-0 up. The pressure is on them. It's their game to lose at this point. They have an extra game behind them. They can just take the game right now. I'm just scared it might get into their head, the fact that they are playing Team Elite. They have the lead. They should be able to win this. It can play around with your mental so much. And we saw CNA with CNA against 100 Cobra. That game, you could really see some mental struggle. There was a lot of indecisiveness by both teams, trying to get calls going, but the nerves can really affect a team. Team Elite, on the other hand, they've proven in the show 1 they can handle these nerves, and that's what scares me. I feel like even though Revival, they are predicted by 70% of the people in the chat to win the game right now. They actually have the majority voting for them. The question is, can they deliver? Are they good enough to handle the pressure of a semi-final of a tournament like this, where each match matters so much?
It certainly does now. Winner takes all. Standard starts from both teams. It's all going to be about how that Jin Zhao can play levels 1 to 6 and what Sejuani does between that 6 to 15 mark. Who's going to take the first turret? Who's going to take the first dragon? What first dragon is it? That's a good point. We're going to start with an Ocean. So that even more hypes up that top lane matchup, because our priority will be low for that one, I can only assume. This is going to be good.
God, man, it's so exciting. This is now Revival's match to lose. You were looking at this and you were thinking, okay, maybe Team Elite just do Team Elite things, but the problem is now is that it isn't that case anymore. The problem is that now Revival have the lead, so I just hope it doesn't get to the head, but it's going to be such a close one. Can Galio get the engages off? That's what I'm looking for. How well can they play those side lane engages in the early game to the mid game and make sure that those Galio ults are successful? Because we saw in CNA versus 100 Cobra, sure, like, you can get 1 or 2 good ganks off, but if you're not able to get one of those big stellar ultimates off, it can become a little bit of a problem when you hit the mid game.
I mean, Lordio's already missing CS in the mid lane. Agrita's putting the pressure on. This is only hyping up this matchup more. Agrita's got the lane prio. This is the lane that I'm really going to be looking forward to watching. Lordio's got a lot to prove, and Agrita's got a lot to live up to. I'm excited for that one particularly. Sejuani just going for the standard bot side of the blue to the Grom into the Scuttle, where Jin Zhao can look to get that top side priority instantly, going buff Scuttle, which is a good play for Wavelad, I think, getting that pressure in the top side. That level 3 gank top, Fun goes in.
Well, and just for everyone, this is game 2 and not game 1 because Team Elite didn't show up in game in, and now in the bot lane Tom Kench goes in, but nothing happens.
And just to remind you, you may have voted in late. You see the little minus and plus buttons. Click that plus button to speed up. Make sure you're up to date, because we had that a little bit earlier than you had it. Just to make sure you're ready for the next play-by-play.
Okay, yes, sorry.
No problem, not bad at all. But where I want to look at this mid lane, like you said, Agrita is putting on a show. Sure, the mid lane stacking against Lordio, so he's going to have a little bit of fun looking into his tower. But the thing is that look at what Wavelad's able to do with this. They know that mid has pressure right now, and so he can very easily just walk through the jungle and possibly get a very nice gank coming onto the top side.
And now we see the gank coming on from the Xin tower. He queues onto Wellington, and they try to go for the tower dive, but Wellington goes out, and the jungle will back off, and Urgot has got now a lead over Wellington with an 8 CS lead.
Oh, but Mojo's going incredibly low there. We were talking about how important this matchup is to win. That first gank is going to allow Blueberry Haze to have so much pressure now. He gets the push, he gets a big CS lead. Mojo forced to back, and he's probably going to be forced to TP back, I assume, to catch that wave that comes in now.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's not going to lose a lot of CS to that. It's just the TP, and I doubt there's much that's going to be lost because of it. It's just going to give Urgot the pressure in lane that he needs to have control of where the wave's going to be at all points. Urgot needs to look for a relatively soon recall to take full advantage of it. But what I want to look at is how much mana Lordio's actually wasting in this mid lane. But Tristana goes in.
Tom Kench goes in with the bomb, but Tom Kench could deny the engage from Tristana with his tongue lash, and the situation got sorted out and no more fighting in the bot lane.
Yeah, but keep your eye on that Xin Zhao. Wavy that is making his way towards that bot side. In Equitas and Front need to be careful. They may be getting caught out here. Wavy that's
engaged. The Galio head bumps, the boot flashes out, the ignite is on to him, and the heal out, but he dies, and first blood for Revival and the Ash. And now Tristana also is feared, and she has to flash, and she flashes out right, and so she survives the situation, and just one kill for the Ash, but that could have been easily 2 kills. But now in the top lane a fight, the Renekton goes in, but Urgot with his W has a shield, and that is enough that he will survive that fight.
Right, it was interesting to see that Xin Zhao actually uses gap closer on the Alistar. Alistar then decides to go in to try and take the 2v3. It was a really bad play, I think, from Thrun, and they punished it well. Then lack of communication from Revival, they could have got the Tristana. But what's really nice to see is Joe actually, after taking that early gank, taking advantage in the top side. He's now ahead in CS, he's got the pressure against the Urgot, who actually used
now is the flash from Pexo, and they focus now on the Tom Kench. Will he get stunned? No stun, but now they go onto the Sejuani. The Sejuani is in danger, but the engage from the Tristana with the rocket jump, and that was enough to secure the kill onto the Tom Kench.
Yeah, that's a big play coming down, making sure that the pressure stays even. It gets the Equitas a kill. Unfortunately, now you actually look at the summoner spells down that bot side. All the summoners, bar Frun's Ignite, have been burnt in that bot side. So that means it is ripe for junglers to go and gank. And it's looking like Baby Lad trying to get a bit of pressure down the bot side.
Now again, a fight in the bot lane. The Xin Zhao engages on the Alistar. He will get stunned by Alistar. And the Ignite is on. And Xin Zhao is dead. And the Q of Galio didn't hit. And Alistar gets out of the situation safely, and now 2 kills for Equitas, and that makes the matchup even hyper, because both ADCs are really crucial for both of the teams, and Tristana in Equitas will be now crucial in this game and for the comeback.
That was a big yikes from me. Waverlad going in 1v2. Galio was just so late. I don't know where the communication was, and that's bot lane massively in ahead of an Equitas now. They're going to look to engage constantly, and that's no ult now in mid lane with a level advantage. Rip every single lead that Revival managed to create in the first 3 minutes.
You say that, they're not even 1k down, but the problem is that we're 7 minutes in, and Team Elite, they've managed to craft a good lead for themselves. Sure, top lane's losing a little bit in CS, but that's just she's a back advantage. Bot lane, though, is like, want to look at the big gold lead. Right now, Inequitas has a 400 gold lead on Ashe, and it's just 7 minutes because of the extra kill and the extra CS that he has. He already has a 13 CS lead at this point in the game. It's very good for himself.
Yeah, Tristana just needs to find a good chance to back now. She's sitting on the gold that isn't in the item slots. As soon as she gets that recall, they're going to look to make the play. Delight will be level 6, and that's where the obvious move is, while the Galio ult is on cooldown. But there's no pressure in these lanes now for Revival. I mean, yeah, at the minute, Motorjaw's being pushed in, but as soon as this wave hits back, he's going to have the lead that he had previously in that great play. And I'm feeling a bit scared now for Revival. It's on Waverlad, I think, to get this game back under control. 10 CS behind, the play bot wasn't great, and they need to be careful that this level 6 Sejuani doesn't pop off as much as it potentially could do with the leads that they've got.
Now we see a fight in the mid lane. The Nico engages onto the Galio, the ult hits, but Galio can safely E out of the situation and gets away. Now an engage in the bot lane. Tristana rocket jumps onto the Tom Kench. He gets stunned by the Alistar E, but now Alistar is slow. He needs to get away. And
oh my goodness!
With the E on the Tom Kench, and that play was fucking awesome, and that shows the skill of Inequitas once again.
Holy moly, that was fantastic play by an Equitas there, recognizing how much damage he has, and bear in mind, he doesn't have the... Oh, never mind.
Fight in the top lane, 2v2. Flash from Renekton to get out, the Sejuani to prevent any further follow-up, and both get safely out.
Anyways, as I was trying to make my point, and Equitas did all that damage, whilst he hasn't even cashed on his gold, he's sitting on 2.3k gold right now at 9 minutes. As soon as he gets his back off, he can get a really good push. He's going to be cashing in on what's likely going to end up being a Stormrazor or something of that like, maybe a Blade of the Rude King. He's going to be very near those item spikes, depending on what he wants to build. It's... oh, he's playing so well.
And now they engage onto Tristana with the Ashe ultimate, but she can work a jump away. Oh, she gets eaten, but not enough damage from Dallas. No, the follow-up by Tahm Kench and shot down onto Tristana by Ashe, and now they engage onto the Alistair, but he gets away, and now a follow-up kill from the tower dive.
Here goes Agrita
onto Alistair, and the kill for Agrita.
Jesus. Okay, Equitas does get shut down, but like I said, he just that's essentially a bag for him. He gets a Stormrazor now. He's still gonna be up in this lane. Oh, Agrita's getting caught out though.
Now the Glacial first on the Gallior. He got caught out, but can Nico follow up? No, she turns her attention onto Xin Zhao, but he can flash away.
That's actually so good for Revival. They got the shutdown, which was a massive 600, and they're just 600 gold. Both the Sejuani and Nico are down now. They've really managed to claw that one back with some dodgy plays from both sides, but it's worked out really well. Nice Ashe ult from Paxo, and Gandhi, while he did do a lot of work to make sure that Tristana died there, so you've got to respect him for that. And Revival, Paxo could actually do some work now. He's going to have the gold. It's the Blade of the Rune King versus Stormrazor, where Blade of the Rune King will win in the extended trade, Stormrazor will win in the all-in, but with the Tahm Kench, that means that the all-in does get significantly decreased. It's going to be exciting to see now. Does Sejuani look to prioritise the bot lane, and so does the Jhin Zhao, or do they continue to focus the top side as they did in the very start of the game?
I think the attention is going to be bot side, because right now, both teams really want to get this in ahead. One, in Equitas, huge threat right now. He's 3-1. They want to make sure he doesn't get any further of a lead, so Revival are going to be looking to gank now. However, on the other side...
Nico's top.
Oh.
Now we see maybe a fight in the top lane. Nico is still good, but he flashes away, and so he gets safely away. And what I wanted to also talk about, what do you think? Who will win in that bot lane matchup now with that difference? And now engage on the Tahm Kench. No, on dash, rocket jump. And
oh my god.
He can arrow the Tristana, but the flash of the Tristana to secure the kill. And Tahm Kench gets away. Now the fight in the mid lane on the Galio, but Xin Zhao is there too for the counter gank, so no further fighting in the mid lane.
Oh my god, it's just constant action in this game. It's very antsy on the jungle position too, but I don't think a fight's going to kick off just yet. There's a big push going up. Oh, never mind!
Now, fighting the bot lane. Now, the Tahm Kench is dead. Really nice tower dive by Team Elite, and even in the early game, this just shows how hyped this match between these two teams is.
Kevin and Thrun are putting across a message to DD and Ascari here. Jesus, this Tristana Alistair lane is putting in work. I love the fact that Alistair focused on Tahm Kench to make sure she couldn't devour the Ashe, and he just let Kevin go to town in that burst, and Jesus, I'm excited now for his potential final, but Revival aren't out of it yet.
And yeah, I mean, you talk about Tristana's, I mean, Trigger has first-hand experience of what happens when Tristana gets fed. It's not pretty, and in Equitas right now, he is known for his Tristana. He's 5-1 on the pick. He's going to be getting very, very strong very, very quickly. He's, unfortunately, yeah, he's still a level up on Paxar right now, and the big thing to look at for Tristana is that level lead. The higher level you have, the further your range is, and so it's for Nexus right now, it's a rush to level 18. Try and get those huge ranges that can outrange even a Caitlyn, and then you're looking at a real big scary monster. I mean, right now, Tristana's a scary monster with just a burst, but imagine getting bursted from like half the screen away. That's what Nexus is going to do to you come this mid to late game.
I mean, if we go back again to that game when we saw the Tristana pop off, the big thing was, can they get on the Tristana? In that game they had a Sejuani and they still couldn't do it. this game they've not actually got hard engage outside of the Ashe. Like, landing an Ashe arrow on the Tristana is going to be incredibly difficult with Rocket Jump available and 3 frontline champions in the Alistair, Sejuani, and Renekton. How are they going to get on her? 5-1 already. This is the big issue now. Are they always just going to rely on a Xin Zhao jumping in with a Galio ultimate and making sure that Tristana just doesn't rocket jump out of it? This is a game that is entirely in Inequitas' hands, and this is quite often how he looks to carry. He looks to carry against team comps that don't have engage picks, and that's where we see Inequitas really put up some high numbers. And in this game, in this draft, that's exactly what he's got. And I think this is set up now for Team Elite to carry. Within the next 20 minutes, I can see this game being over unless Revival can get a perfect team fight, because that's what they've got to look to do, even though they're only 1k goal behind.
Yeah, and you talk about getting on Inequitas. There is a pause, unfortunately, but what I want to talk about was luckily have this pause. Galio, okay? Now, I'll admit, my Galio wasn't too great in the mid-game from when I played it, but if you want to get on this Tristana, Galio is your key. Because I'm not even necessarily saying he ults someone who goes in. Galio can go in himself. He has a flash taunt available. He can E himself in there. If he can get behind the backline, taunt up Lodio and Inequitas and make a big play like that, get a proto boat, he does an insane amount of damage, bearing in mind, Galio isn't just a tank. He's a tank that does a metric, like, fuck ton of damage, excuse my French. And so that is the way they get back into this game. They rely on Agrita getting either a good bush flank or just straight up flashing into the enemy team and getting a really good taunt off. If he can do that, he can delete Inequitas and or Lodio before they can even do anything with the fight, and that's how they win it.
What do you think? Who will try to take the first dragon? Because we saw before that there was a little vision contest between these two teams.
Well, I feel like right now the bot lane priority is what kind of speaks for itself with terms of that dragon pick, and Inequitas is going to be the one who's going to try and take that. But not Inequitas itself, but the team of Team Elite, because they know that Inequitas is going to be able to get a really good push. If they ever want to look towards the dragon, they just say, okay, Inequitas push, they push into the lane, and then whilst Ashe and Tom Kench set their cleaning in the tower, they just walk up and take the dragon for free. Question is, how much priority do they want to put on an Ocean Drake when they could be putting priority on getting that first breakdown in the bot lane, possibly making a roam play, you know, bot, mid, etc., getting the Rift Herald. There's so many other options that I'm not sure if they'll just go straight for the dragon. I think they may end up trying to invest time onto like a turret first.
Well, the way that Team Elite are most likely going to play is around this bot side. They know if they get the Ocean Drake, that means Renekton will just be completely okay in that top matchup because Urgot can't poke him out because of the Ocean Drake sustain, as well as the fact the tower's really low. But this is what Revival are now going to do to counteract that, is put all their priority in the top side. They know they'll be safe, and they should hopefully be able to pick up a free Rift Herald here, which will look to counter that low health turret bot lane. And they can look to force it mid, because that turret's already around half HP, and one hit by the Rift Herald will make that incredibly low. It's just about how long can they survive in this bot lane if they can look to make that pressure. Because Urgot's actually done really well in getting a CS lead now, so they've got the mid and the top priority. And Lodio so far hasn't looked too impressive on that Nico. You'd expect him to put at least some numbers up so far. You expect him to look to win a lane, and Agrita has been putting in a lot more work despite the CS deficit.
But you say he's putting in a lot more work. I feel like both blue laners have almost not done as much as you usually expect. There's other two big carries right now, but all the action has been in the bot side. Sure, Agrita's had one or two ults, which is what's made him useful, but Lordio's found it hard to really end either lane, because what Galio is so smart at doing is he can just sit there in the lane, push it out, and then roam. And whilst he's roaming, Lordio can't do anything other than continue pushing out the lane or sacrifice a big wave of CS. And the problem is that that's for the uncertainty of possibly helping out bot, even though by the time he's there, the fight's probably over. So it's just smart play by Agrita by getting the push over. As you see, the push is going on now, and you'll see Agrita go down and get some vision right now, prepare himself for a possible bot side fight if that happens. Like it's simple play by him, but yet it's effective. That's a very, very efficient way of playing Galio.
So I've got to look at this now, and how long has Sejuani and Nico been on cooldown, and why haven't Team Elite made a play in the last 5 minutes? Not even going for the dragon here. They've got complete vision control. They know they do with the 3 vision wards they've got, and they seem to be playing it almost too passive. Do you agree, or do you think that they can just wait to the late game and take it, Byron?
If we're looking at Team Elite, then I wouldn't worry if I were them for the late game. I mean, Sejuani against Ninja better in the late game. I would say Tristana versus Ashe definitely better in the late game because Tristana's huge range. Alistair is amazing peel in the show versus Tom Kench. The Tom Kench's job in this game shouldn't be to peel, but looking to kill Inequitas. He doesn't help with that objective particularly well. The only and then top side is the only place I really worry for the side of Team Elite, because right now Urgot's getting the chance to scale very easily against this Renekton, and that's not what you want to see, because it means that Blueberry Haze will likely get priority in that whatever side lane they end up pushing in, and that's the only worry. The way Revival going to win this game is through smart split pushing and trying to separate the side of Team Elite, because if there aren't that many tanks there to protect an Equitas, they will kill him. It's just a case of, can they split up those tanks? Can they get Motojo to stay in that top side? Can they force, like, I don't know, like Motojo to Light, let's say they both go roam down top to try and deal with Blueberry Haze, but all of a sudden the Equitas only has Friend next to him for peel. That's their aim of this game. They want to get Blueberry Haze to a point where he's scaled up, get that split push going, and make sure that an Equitas is vulnerable wherever he is.
Now we see that Drake getting taken by Team Elite, and before the Rift Herald was put down in mid lane, but they couldn't take the tower because the tower survived with a little bit of health, and Sejuani looked at the focus from the Rift Herald was onto her. What do you think about the Rift Herald play that they did? Oh. And now we're seeing fight in the mid lane. They engage from Galio, but Nico could prevent it with her own ult, so no further skirmishing there, and Nico goes back now to buy some more items.
Yeah, great for the bit Agnes there. I'll let you speak, I'll let you speak.
The mid lane Rift Herald play was okay. They were one auto attack away from getting the turret, but this is where Revival are going to feel a little bit under the cush now, because their bot lane's got no priority, and if they can't make a play mid lane to get that turret, I feel like they're going to lose the first turret gold, and I don't think they can afford to do it. I think that's where Urgot's actually got to use his lead and roam across the map. He can have some good roaming potential with his ultimate, and it's something that the Nico would never expect. I think if they look to just try and put pressure on that, or even just go for the mid lane turret now, Nico's taking the recall, I think that's where they can look to pressure the lane, because they have got the entire top side of the map on lockdown, just with the leads that they've managed to gain in the 1v1s, and obviously the Xin Zhao is still going to have the lead over the Sejuani until probably around 25-30 minutes. So Xin Zhao's making that path up top. Did they get the mid turret? It looks like they did.
Yeah, they did. First break to Galio.
They got it.
So this could be their way massively back into it.
Oh,
Erection going in onto the Urgot, but he flashes away, but the Xin Zhao is there to help the Urgot, but they don't go for the tower dive. Xin Zhao just helps to push the lane and goes back. Now the fight onto Nico.
I feel like Agritic could have got a really nice Proto Belt taunt off on Lodio. This Proto Belt up and press the W, but other than that, I mean, it was a good ult by Haxao, just shutting out Lodio from the fight. They clear out the way very simply. The problem is, there are 4 people mid right now, and it's very hard to count that push, especially with Tristana, who is an incredible sieger, and will just shred turrets, like she just did right there. However, as you were talking about this top side, about the roam ability, the big thing to look at Motojo's summoner spells and look at Blueberry Haze's. Motojo does not have a teleport, does not have a flash. It means that 1, he's disadvantaged in the 1v1, and 2, he can't TP and follow a roam. So if Blueberry Haze, what he could do, push out the lane, drop out a vision, possibly try and look for it all, and that's also an opportunity.
Flash from the Urgot to the Renekton to try to engage him, but Renekton was a little bit too much away, so he didn't connect of him.
And well, essentially, Blueberry Haze,
they're losing pressure. Team Elite got the big pressure up to, they got the big roam up to mid, they were first to it. Parkster was bot in the 1v0 lane, not even getting the turret, and now they're all going bot lane to get the pressure with the Nico and the Sejuani. This is great play from Team Elite. It's too slow in my opinion, and if they're going to beat 100 Cobra, they've got to be a little bit faster with it. But this is the proactive play that I've been wanting to see. They're now sending 4 men bot. Galio has the ultimate available, but I think they'll still have priority for this dive, and that turret is bound to go down in this push, unless Blueberry Haze gets some kind of flank with teleport, but there's no wards.
Now we see the engage, but Tom Kench devours him, and so he disengages, but now the ultimate on the Renekton, and the execution, so he dies, but now the engage from Galio onto Team Elite, and now onto the Nico, and she dies, but Tristana is still alive. She auto-attacks Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao is dead, but she will also probably die from Ashe. No, she can flash away the TP from Urgot to follow up. Now the Tom Kench ultimate with the Ashe, but the Ashe W hits Tristana, show a double kill for Ashe with the bounty.
great.
Flow is clean.
That was a nice snipe there by Paxo, making sure that Inoktest dies for that. And we're talking about that. Blueberry Hayes had the 1v1 advantage, he gets the kill, and then he has the TP advantage too, so he feels completely fine about just TPing down to that fight. He goes there, wins the fight for his team, and then they're pushing it down mid. They're going to very easily get this tier 2 turret, and I think now they can rotate back and either look to reset or look to get some Baron vision.
The re-engage. Just trying to defend the turret. I mean, Inequitas had a little bit of the Drigger syndrome there, where he thought he had to put his entire team on his shoulders, and he didn't need to. He jumps in 1v3 to kill the Jin Zhao, sure, but then what? You've got a W away, you've got a flash away, and even then it's not enough. I think he just needs to know that he can sit on that backline and be completely okay. Let the Nico, let the Renekton, let the Sejuani, let the Alistair be the front line. And if Inequitas does that another time, I think they're going to be a lot more punished because of it, with the Baron and being close to the mid lane inhibitor turret being ready to be taken down. So Inequitas just needs to play a little bit smarter. He's fed, he can easily 1v9 this game, as long as he doesn't just jump in aimlessly 1 versus 3. That's a kill X move. We've seen that in the semi-final in the Shell one against 7 Deadly Sins. It didn't work, and I'm still butthurt about it. They can play smart, they can play safe, and they will outscale with this relatively okay team comp because of the lack of engage that Revival have got. But well played from Wavelad there, I must admit. He did allow that fight to go in their favour, and then nice ult from Fatman Gandhi to instantly react to get onto the back line of Team Elite.
Yeah, and the key word you want to look at with this Revival squad is the ultimates. You have Tahm ult, you have Galio ult. Both those give you huge global pressure. Alongside an Uggo understanding with TP, you can pressure essentially anywhere on the map, and then if you see them respond somewhere else, you can go and send a bunch of people down there. It's an incredibly good composition of responding to plays. And you see that when Team Elite tries to make a big engage go happen bot, they are able to respond to it very, very well, thanks to those abilities. It's great that they use those, and it's good drafting by them. It's just that Team Elite now need to be aware that if they're going to have fights, they need to end them either quickly or it needs to be a 5v5. Because otherwise, they are going to be punished for it, like they were punished there.
And they're not crucial.
Sorry, Trigger?
You were a fan of the Renekton pick here. It got an early lead, and it didn't really mean too much in the lane. And now Urgot's just dominating the 1v1, and I'm presuming split in the team fights. Urgot's going to have the advantage anyway.
But engage on the Chainsaw! Vertication Prison, a nice pick from Team Elite, and another kill for the Tristana. And now engage onto the Urgot, the stun hits from Renekton, and now they will run down the Urgot, and the kill goes to Sejuani.
I mean, they lose the mid tier 2 for it, but I think they're very happy with that trade, because right now, they know that Gadlio's bot side. I mean, Gadlio does have the teleport, so they have to keep that in mind, but they are looking to...
Oh, no! Engage on the dash! Shot down! For the Nico. A beautiful engage, and now they go for the Baron.
And my biggest problem there is that Agrita, nowhere to be found. That Galio ultimate is so key in these fights, and he's just not there. The team just crumbles one by one, all a little bit out of position and too far pushed up. Team Elite instantly punished. They get themselves a Baron, and now they're just walking up top to push that. And the scariest thing is that that's the Tristana booking up there. Huge siege potential, like I said. They're going to crush that top tier turret. And after that, they're just going to walk it down. They know that not many people are going to be able to respond that fast. Holy moly, Team Elite, that was fantastic. And Lorio, props to him. That ultimate in the bush, bellissimo, beautiful.
That's the thing with Lorio, isn't it? Like, he might be AFK for 25 minutes, but the guy is still arguably, if not the best mid laner in the league, and he showed it there, giving his team the Baron. And now's when Team Elite are just going to do Team Elite things. They're going to look to snowball now. Even though Motojo was losing the 1v1, he's now got the Baron buff. I think, yeah, he does have the Baron buff. He's going to have the advantage in the 1v1 against the Urgot now, just simply because of the push that he'll have against the Urgot. Urgot's going to have to use cooldowns to try and take the wave. Gives Renekton the lead. And this is it now. Great pick. Great roam up top. Great to get the pick onto the jungler and the top laner of Revival. And obviously great play from Lorio on the Nico as well. Really nice teamwork to play this 4-1 composition. Even though Renekton was behind, they still played well with it and didn't lose too much. Despite that play bot, which could have been very, very bad for Team Elite. Now, how much can they get with the Baron? Realistically, they should try and get an inhib. Play the 4-1 properly, look to pressure these lanes, top and bot is what they're doing right now. Look to find the engage with the Sejuani ult and the Nico ult that are both available currently. We've just got to find it.
Yeah, they know that. They're just...
The Ashe flash! And now, the follow-up! And Ashe nearly dies! Survives with a sliver of health.
Now, TP gets cancelled.
Down in top lane.
Good cancel the TP, I believe, there. by Motojo is able to shut Agatha down on that side. You can't get into the fight, and that means Team Elite now very easily pushing now. Big fight going on the tower.
Beautiful Nick ultimate on Urgot. Urgot is dead. The guy ultimate comes off. So Johnny goes in and she dies.
Nice
Sonya's engage on the Tristana, but she's now in the backline. Cannot attack for free. The
that might be it.
The last kill, and that was the ace, and that was probably the game. And we will go to game 3.
And there we are. Like in Equitas play, he is the opposite of what happened in the fight bot lane. He stays behind. He knows he shouldn't go in, and you see Revival just flail their bodies in Equitas. They can't reach him, and then Equitas just kills them up, cleans it up 10-4 on this Justana pick, and holy moly, we're going to a game 3.
This is it now, boys. Blind pick on stream once again. Inequitas, fantastic play there. Good Nika ult. Sejuani engage was clean on the Ashe despite the flash. This was good. This was great from Team Elite. 1 or 2 little hiccups here or there, but it was great play. And I think you've got to give credit to the bot lane for getting those 2v2 leads that we expected to see. Now it's just about to see, can Aguta be put on a carry champion? Can he show Lordio that he should be winning this lane and look to carry? Because there was moments in that game where I thought they could. There was moments in that game where people like the Paxlow got those kills, got the shutdown on Tristan, you thought they had a chance. Now it's just about stepping it up for game 3, because that's what it's all about. I'm hype. Well played, both teams.
What do you think? What is now the mental state of Revival? They got the first win in the game 1 because Team Elite didn't show up, and now they lost in that way. What do you think? What is their plan now for game 3, and will they come back?
Well, bear in mind, they have all the comfort picks available to them in this blind pick. For those who don't know how blind pick work, I'll very quickly explain it to you. Both teams send the team they want to play to an admin. That admin then cross-references both teams. If there is a champion on both teams, that gets locked out, and they have 10 seconds to pick another champ for that slot. So that is going to be how the blind draft is going to work. We'll have to wait and see what they pick, but they have any choice they want for these competitions, and we saw right now, even with the drafts, I think there are some big key picks we're going to like this year. I think Inequitas' Tristana is going to stay. I think Blueberry Hayes' Urgot is going to stay. Certain picks like that have done really good work. It's just, I'm so excited to see how they change their draft without the limits of bans. Anyways, though, I believe that is the end of our game 2. We will be back in a few minutes for game 3. It will be the blind pick. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Now or never. Now or never. Now or never. Now or never. We go down into the darkness like a stampede. Charging, follow me now, follow me now. Follow me. We descend into the madness like a wild thing. rabid. Follow me now, follow me now. Follow
And
me.
another kill maybe up to the middle.
Yeah,
Okay,
No
alright.
more
I think,
wandering.
okay. I don't want to say it, but
This
I
twisted
think it's
ground.
done.
Forsake everything. Don't wait around. Don't you believe? If you want it, you can have it. Leave the rest, leave the habit. We go down into the darkness like a stampede, charging. Follow me now, follow me now. Follow me down. We descend into the madness like a wild thing, rapid. Follow me now, follow me now. Follow me down. What's inside my head? I've lost the scent. No one to forgive. No one to forget. Don't you believe? If you want it, you can have it. Take the red, leave the habit.
Do you really think you can beat me?
We go down into the darkness like a stampede, charging. Follow me now, follow me now. Follow me down. We descend into the madness like a wild thing, rapid. Follow me now, follow me now. Follow me down.
Hello guys, and welcome back to the Shell 2 semi-finals. We are at an impasse. It is 1-1. It is the match point to decide who goes into the finals to face my team 100 Cobra, and it is going to be decided by a blind pick draft. Now, before I introduce my co-crashers, I'm going to very quickly explain again the blind pick we're doing here. Essentially, you see a tournament draft right here, but I believe they're not going to ban anything. I believe they're going to ban picks that haven't been picked. Both teams know what teams have been picked now, and so do the admins. We are still in the dark about what combos they have picked, however, but we do know no picks went challenged, so every single pick was not duplicated on the other side. There was no attempts to try and edge out the other guy's picks in draft, and so it is going to be an exciting one to see how it unfolds. Now, still with me, NA and Trigger. I'll start with NA because I'd like to give you a chance to speak. How are you doing? And are you excited for this game 3?
Yeah, I am really excited for that game 3. If you saw that game 2, it was explosive, and I hope that the game 3 will be as explosive as the second game.
Yeah, and Trigger,
what I'm really
I mean,
interested now is they've banned V, they've banned L, and now they've banned F. I'm really curious what they're spelling, because obviously VL at the start. Let's just wait till they decide. But let's see what these picks are. Renekton again. They actually banned their own Urgot. Wow. I did not see that coming. Sion.
I think they were expecting an Urgot pick, and they were going to pick Sion into the Urgot, but the Urgot does not pick by much, so.
It's fair. I mean, Sion's still got a decent matchup into Renekton. Renekton can definitely win it, but Sion post level 5 will be more than fine in that matchup.
Sion Sejuani, that is 2 tanks. Oh, just imagine like a Gadio and Aquatin now, and it's just all impacts now. But Nico,
is that a non-jungle?
Oh, it is born to own in the jungle. Let's go.
Yo, Delight's actually trying to style on kids here in the final game of the semi-finals. I've just picked up the Syndra as well. This was what I wanted to see. Get off that beta champion, Galio. This is what I want. This is the kind of composition that we expected to come out of these lines up, where Revival have actually got a carry in the mid lane that's going to look to carry.
Yeah,
FTK?
I mean,
Is it going to be a K for the last ones?
this Syndra, I mean, and I never would have in my champion wheelhouse, but actually I can do this really well against the Nico, because essentially what you can do is it's very easy to chunk down a Nico, and if she wants to come and flash into a fight with her ultimate, your E is so useful at just throwing her away from the fight. And also, if she does go in and she's in the middle of an ultimate, you can easily ult her. Sure, she can Zhonya's too, but it's that big interaction. If her Zhonya's is on cooldown, she tries to go anywhere near you, you can just ult her, and she dies. Just like that. So it's a great matchup. I really like the Syndra side of it. That's half the reason why I liked playing it in the first game. But the Caitlyn coming from a pack style, trying to outrange this Tristana in the early game, but Inexus gets his hands on that pick.
And the Thresh, yes, that's what I want to see, John. See, Team Elite here, they've picked 5 champions that they're all going to be very comfortable on, or want to carry on. But damn, can they fall short if it doesn't work? Like, they're going balls to the walls. This is going to be a montage game, or this is going to be a bad montage game from Team Elite. And when you look at the side of Revival, they've picked champions that you think, wow, they can really do work here. Fatman Gandhi's on a more comfortable champion. He's going to be looking to poke and win the lane through pressure. Paxo's got the range advantage on the Caitlyn, who does really well into the Tristana if he plays it right. And Agwata's on a carry champion. This is what I like to see from Revival. This is the kind of composition that I think they could win on. Team Elite, as I say, this is big question marks. They are going to look so good if they win, and they're going to look so bad if they lose. So,
I want to quickly get 2 points in. First of all, on Revival's comp, I really like it, because instead of having a lane that you have Ashdot and Kench who just forfeits lane priority, they have Caitlyn and they have Zyra. Both those champs are incredible at pushing in the lane and making sure that an Nexus in front are almost trapped in their tower. They just have to have great board game because of Delight. And also, I like the Stan and Sejuani. Last game, we talked about the fact that they didn't have much engaged to get on an Aquastaff. We saw in that last fight it come to fruition, where everyone was trying to fling their body towards him, but they just couldn't get there. Sion and Sejuani are really good champions at engaging on people, and so it's a great adaptation by them. However, Ornn jungle. This is a fantastic pick, because as soon as he hits that level 6, you can Ornn anywhere, and you can practically gank from the middle of the river, and it will still end up working. And that's what's so scary about this Ornn pick. It's like a hyper Zac when you talk about his gank potential, because he can gank from so far away that trying to get him warded out is impossible. So there's going to be kind of an air and revival where they need to be careful past that level 6 mark. if they're able to really step up in that lane. Because if an Orno ends up coming out when you're halfway up your lane, you get caught out by like a Nikos or something, and then you're dead. It's really, really scary. And if the light can pull it off, it's great. It's just, I slightly worry for him in the early. I'm not sure how Ornn's clear is. I imagine it's pretty decent, but pre-6, Ornn is pretty weak in the jungle, so I'm interested to see whether Wavy that's going to try and punish that in Sejuani, or if he's just going to head towards ganks or farming himself up himself.
Well, Ornn's clear is not actually that bad with his W. He loses a lot of health, but he clears relatively quickly. I reckon he'll get level 3 before Sejuani does, unless Sejuani gets incredible scuttle priority, because obviously Sejuani just like bombs those out in 2 seconds. So I don't think the Ornn pick will fall too far behind in regards to that. But it obviously goes low. Sejuani's not going to punish it. I think that'll be fine. The big thing is Tristana really does struggle at farming under lane, and Zyra, if played well, can actually block a Thresh hook with plants, just with a simple WQ or a WE. And that could mean that Team Elite can't actually force anything bot without the help of the Lordio, who didn't actually roam too much in that last game. Particularly in the early game, Agratar obviously was playing Galio, it's a little bit different, but who didn't have pressure over that lane, didn't have priority, and didn't roam. And that could mean that Team Elite don't have the same pressure they had in the bot lane. With the Syndra there, it could mean that Agratar can actually force the advantage over the Lordio. And as I say, Sion should be completely fine into the Renekton. So it's set up, draft-wise, that I'd expect Revival to win if it was blank nameplates. But it's not. This is the Inequitas just popped the fuck off last game. And this is Lordio, who is the best mid laner in VL as of last game. So they should really look to pop off. Thresh on Renekton. That's what this game is going to be about. If Thrun pops off on this Thresh, boy, is he going to be popping off in general chat later, saying like, is the best support in VL. And to be honest, if he makes another Shell victory or at least another Shell final, it'll be very hard to prove him wrong. This is going to be one hell of a game.
Oh, it certainly is. And you talked about a lot of different matchups, but the one I want to look at, like I mentioned before, this mid-lane matchup is huge. If Syndra can get herself a lead, get that level 6 power spike, and instantly all in the Nico before the light does hit that level 6 mark, that's the sweet spot that you want to really get. And Syndra all in is disgustingly powerful, and if Nico isn't at the point where she's got her Zhonya's, she will be struggling a lot against this Syndra, and that's where I'm looking at. The problem is, I would expect Agratar to take something like Ignite in this lane and try and get himself a lead. However, he's took the barrier, whereas Lordio took himself the Ignite, and that worries me. It feels like Agratar might be going into this game with a slightly more passive playstyle. He's took the Arcane Comment instead of the Electrocute. So that kind of goes against the game plan I would have. Anyways, NA, we've kind of shoved you out of the conversation a little bit through Champ Select. Is there anything you want to say before we head into the game?
Yeah, as already you also mentioned, I'm really hyped for the bot lane matchup. Caitlyn Zyra against Tristana Thresh. I am assuming that Caitlyn Zyra will have the pressure because they will probably push in the wave under the turret, and then Tristana will have a hard time to farm under her turret. Do you think that's right, or do you think Inequitas and Fran can get priority in that lane?
I mean, they can, but it would take a really good engage, and it would take a great gank from Delight, and I don't think a good gank from Delight is going to happen until at least the level 6 mark, and so they have to kind of be wary.
Thresh hook.
Has he been spotted out? Oh!
Yes, nice hook! But Sion can flash away.
It was a nice attempt. It was a nice attempt to both run. I like it. Getting rid of Blueberry Haze's flash in the top lane is very nice, because it means that Delight, whilst Ornn ganks aren't amazing, because he now knows that Blueberry Haze isn't going to have that flash up till around about the 5:45 mark, he can look to exploit that very well. If Botajoe can get a lead in this lane, like we talked about, Redex and Snowballs are huge. If he can get a lead in this lane, now that the enemy lane is already down a flash, that can change the whole landscape of how this whole kind of set will form out.
Agreed. I mean, what I like about Blueberry Haze there is he flashed the hook rather than flashing after the hook. So that does mean that he's going to be completely fine for the laning phase. It's now about how much can Renekton punish to Sion, and I think Sion will actually be okay. He'll be able to push in, his natural tankiness as soon as he gets W will mean he'll be completely fine in the lane. Whereas if Thresh actually gets bullied by the Zyra Caitlyn, he's not going to have flash available. One Roots could maybe be it. Roots into trap combo was actually really lethal in that lane. So Thrun needs to be careful burning flash so early. I think that may have been a win for Revival.
I have that. Now we have a pause, and I think that too that it is a loss for Team Elite because the bot lane of Revival has really high damage output also in the early phase of the game. So that could be dangerous that the Thresh is flashless, and I wouldn't be surprised if there would be a first blood in the bot lane.
Well, I mean, it is certainly possible. The poke from Paxal and Fatman Gandhi they're going to be able to lay down is going to be huge, especially if they are able to get a little bit of a lead for themselves in terms of CS and the push, get a nice back off, get their items before an XS in front can get theirs. If they can arrive to the lane before an XS in front of back, they are going to output so much damage onto both those people. It's just a case of can they get optimum back timings, can they get the CS they need, and can they make the poke happen? Because the problem is, sure, Caitlyn Zyra, one of the best poke lanes in the game, but Tristana Fresh, one of the best all-in lanes in the game. So it's about how those two are going to interact. If there can be a big explosive fight on the bot side that an Nexus can just edge out, or will it be just a case of Paxel and Fatman Gandhi push them into the tower, just constantly applying pressure in it?
Well, I suppose the big thing is who's actually going to react first. Because with Sejuani and Ornn both being very similar champions, maybe arguably Sejuani being the better at ganking pre-6, can Agritter or Lodio have priority in this lane enough to roam down bot side? So in the first game of the first round of the semi-finals, it was actually Syndra versus Nico, wasn't it, when you were playing against Navarian? Who actually had the pressure in the lane? Who was pushing each other out? Does the Nico have the lead because of the EQ, or would you say Syndra has that advantage in pushing the lane?
I mean, obviously this is Byron for the playstyle that I was playing. Ideally, Syndra would have the lead because you do outrange her fairly well as long as you can make sure she's burnt her ability beforehand. Because as soon as she goes to auto a minion, you can just Q auto her, and it is disgusting. If you get another auto, it gets an electrocute proc. Unfortunately, Ag just took the comet instead of the electrocute, but that is actually really useful because it means he's going for the poke, not the all-in, and it means that every time Lodi wants to get a little bit of CS, he has to go in range of a Syndra Q. Gets hit by a Syndra Q, not very nice. Level 2, then Syndra W comes into effect. You get a lot of poke down. If you're a good Syndra, you can really start finishing this matchup. As you can see, Agritter is doing right now, poking Lordia out away from the wave. Fairly calm though on the other side of the map so far. We do see Wavy Lad right now on the bot side. He's looking that, I guess he's just getting some vision around the Dragon Pit. I thought for a second he was going to hop over and see if he could get a gank, but not going to be in the case. He's just going to retreat back. Like I said, this mid-lane matchup, it should be fairly dominant for the Syndra, especially at level 6 mark is huge, but it kind of swings in favor of, it kind of stays even, because while Syndra has a good advantage level 4 through 5, level 6, while she gets the ultimate and has a huge all-in potential, that's usually when Nico gets her ultimate, and it becomes a very nice gank target for someone like the Light, and that's when he needs to be worried as Syndra. You can output a lot of force and priority in this lane. The problem is, if you get ganked, you're a Syndra, you can only eat them away.
Outside of mid lane, we're seeing that Paxo and Fatman Gandhi put a lot of pressure on the Thresh. He lost a lot of health, but both potions used his back up to full. And now you look at top and you look at bot, and a lot of mana has actually been spent. Blueberry Haze is going to struggle in this matchup now. He was doing well early, but if Motor Joe gets 6 and Blueberry Haze doesn't get a decent chance to recall and teleport back to lane, Joe will be looking for this kill. I mean, look how much damage this guy is doing.
In the top lane. The Remington engages onto the Sion, but Sion is too tanky and has too much health left, and he can just walk out of the skirmish.
Yeah, and the big thing mid, like I was talking about, Auge has a lot of pressure, and you see that in the CS lead. It's 10 CS up, 12 CS right now, but I'm sure that'll eventually get catched up when the wave hits the tower. He's doing what I could not do, and he's applying a hell of a lot of pressure with the Syndra, and he's doing a very good job of it. And now, he has the priority. The problem is, look who's also hanging around that mid lane, and it is the Light. He's level 3, but he has put out Agritter, and it's maybe a big gank.
No. Nico didn't hit her. No, they engage from the Ornn. The E hits. Knock up on the Syndra.
Wave is coming.
But Johnny is coming.
Oh.
Nice E to prevent the engage onto Ornn. So both junglers can walk out and continue farming.
Infernal Drake is the first dragon. If there was anything was going to amplify the amount of pressure that was about last game, it's going to be that Drake. This is going to be a lot more different though with the Caitlyn Zyra lane. That's it's going to add more hype to this because I can't wait to see Equus press W into 3 members again. That's what I'm looking forward to see.
Yeah, theoretically, Revival should be pushing this in right now, but they're not actually getting themselves a push, which is kind of unfortunate, because what they can do is they can get themselves a bit lane priority. I think they are looking for a gank with that, but he has it spotted out on the ward, so there won't be much risk of an Nectas in front going down. I said, ideally, Caitlyn's Eye, they push in the lane, they just hard push it, and then as soon as the jungler is around, they can rotate into the dragon. However, the problem is that with Ornn hanging around, he's level 4 right now, there's only 2 more levels until he gets that big Ornn horn, and that's when he starts applying a hell of a lot of pressure.
A big thing that Caitlyn needs to do is try and zone the Tristana off the CS. Like, she's playing really far back, which is okay because you want to play at max range on Caitlyn, but when it's obvious that Tristana is going to go for those backlane minions when the mage minion starts going low, that's when you need to start pressuring the Tristana. That's what DD did so well against me on the Varus. He just didn't let me CS on the Tristana, and look how far back Paxlo's playing in this lane. He's doing well at getting the CS advantage, or near enough the CS advantage. He's actually falling behind now, but he's not denying the Tristana any of the CS, and that's what's important. They've got the damage to win the trade. You just need to be a little bit more aggressive in this lane and trust the fact that they've got decent vision coverage. And they'll be okay if Ornn shows up bot side.
Yeah, I mean, they just need to make sure they know where Ornn is and then capitalize it. The problem is, right now, as Caitlyn and Zyra, as much as you want to push in, if they don't know where Ornn is, it's hard for them to really apply that pressure that they really want to and well need to, because they know that if they do push up a little bit too far, fresh hook lands, and Nectas jumps in, Delight Ornn horns, which is going to be coming up soon, and then all of a sudden it's 2 dead bot. So I think they might just be looking to play it out. I wouldn't recommend that style, but I guess if they're that scared of Nectas still bullying, they might just be looking to try and end the game early with Aggressive possibly getting a big lead in the mid lane.
I mean, that's saying a lot when you're relying on Lodio losing lane to win a game. But at the minute, Aggressive's doing pretty well in that matchup, so it's only fair. This is it's going to be weird to see when the level 6 spike hits with both junglers, because that's when these two tankiest champions look to put the majority of the pressure in, and that Infernal Drake will be a big priority for both teams. But so far, Blueberry Haze is doing pretty well in this matchup. Balances TP well. He's still behind in CS, but he's not losing the matchup to the point where Motojo is going to get a solo kill.
Yeah, it's just good play by him to survive this. As long as Mojo doesn't snowball, he's happy with that. Because at the end of the day, Silent in a team fight is infinitely more useful than Renekton if they're on even footing. The problem is, if he gives Motojo that 1 kill, that extra little bit of CS, that's when trouble starts to brew up, because he can then start challenging the side waves, and it becomes hard to 1v1 him.
Let's go. A priority for the level 6 spike goes to Revival, despite the pink was going in, but Motojo goes in.
Skirmish in the top lane. A little skirmish, but nothing more. And now Tristana getting a little bit chunked out.
TP is available for Motojo. I don't know if the teams are just going to play passive again. Well, this is the big spike that teams are going to be looking to play for. They can't just give this away for free. And the leads that the Aggressive's got so far, just in items, with the blasting wand already, should be enough to make them think that they can start to fortify it.
Well, you say that, it isn't much of a lead, because on the other side you still have a lot of chance to hit
on the Zyra, hit the flash, first hit also, now the...
Oh, he's alive!
And Zyra survives with a flash, but Tristana could follow, but now engage onto the Nico, but she survives with her own ultimate. And will it get that TP from Renekton to get into the fight? The Knights on need onto the Syndra, and Syndra is dead. Another kill for Inequitas, and now the third kill onto the Caitlyn, and now 3-1 in kills for Team Elite.
Yeah, they're very happy with that fight. That's what I was talking about. You want to push up as Caitlyn Zyra, but as soon as that 1-1 cones, you're really looking bad. And Famangani instantly goes down in that fight. Actually gets a really good reply kill, but the problem is they go in when Mojo has TP, and they're already half committed when they see the TP go in. They try and full commit, but it just doesn't work. They go down. They lose, I believe, 3 lives eventually. Go down in that fight. Also, it means that Infernal Drake goes over to the side of Team Elite. Great play by Team Elite, by TPing at the right time. Mojo, fantastic on that. But that's unfortunate by Revival. That this is now when they start to lose bot lane priority, because Tristana's got herself quite a lead. Elite got himself a very, very good fight off, and that mid lane lead that I was talking about, I mean, it exists, but it isn't as big as it originally was.
I mean, when Caitlyn falls behind, it certainly does get very, very difficult to play. But you've got to give credit to Lordio and Delight. They communicated that roam well. They were first to the play. They went bot lane and they caught them out with the Ornhorn. And I think that's the thing that you've got to put that play down to. The fact that Mojo had teleport, Blueberry Haze didn't, and also the fact that Lordio and Delight reacted first. And that's the kind of proactive play that we'll need teams to make if they've even got a chance of beating 100 Cobra in a final. Never mind beating each other here in the semis. So they've got the lead now. They've got a small lead across the map, but primarily in this bot lane with a 1,000 gold lead on the Necrotis. It's what they choose to do with it. Last game it took them far too long to get a decent kind of play with it to force first turret. Are they going to wait for them to make
that's an ultimate coming from
Nice from the Syndra. The ultimate hits her, but Nico counters it with her own ultimate. Nice stun! Nice barrier, and Ignite is on. And Nico is dead. Nice solo kill by the Syndra. And she gets now even further ahead, and will that be enough that Revival can come back? What do you think?
And that right there is the power spike that I was talking about Syndra in this matchup. Because she outranges Lordio, essentially what happens is when Lordio goes to stay with CS, he's going to take damage. The problem is, because Aggressor is able to back, get a Lost Chapter, has the blasting one, because he has a little bit of extra damage in that, it means that then he can get the stun down, get an all in, and he's going to win out in that trade, because the Syndra just outraged. Oh my goodness!
Ultimate in the bot lane, just support trade, and another kill for Inequitas, and unluckily the kill went to the Zyra. So the Caitlyn falls even further behind.
Spectator camera fucking trolling us there by going on top lane when the big fight bot lane, but in comes Wavy.
Now in comes the Sejuani on the Reddington, but Reddington can flash and E out, so he should be safe in the situation. Now they engage on the Caitlyn. She can safely E away, so she isn't endangered anymore.
Sejuani must have missed the ultimate there because it went off cooldown, but obviously no kills happened. But in the bot lane, the Necrotis goes in again. Thrun gets caught, but I think at this point when you're playing Thresh, as long as the Necrotis survives and you set him up, it's completely fine to go 1-for-1. But this lead now in the bot lane is pretty mahoosive. It's still over 1,000 gold, coming up to 1,300 now, and that's just going to make a Necrotis so comfortable in this lane, because when Caitlyn falls behind, you really can't do anything. You need to constantly pressure for that turret. It's still on 5 platings at 13 minutes. And then you need to look to roam, and at this point, everyone's still in standard lanes. But here's a play mid. Wavy Lad goes in.
Now the nice flash by the Sejuani, but it doesn't hit. Nice ultimate by the Nico to prevent any more damage. Now we see engage on the Sejuani. No, she gets away, but nice hit by the Syndra. The On gets away safely, and now we see a skirmish in the top lane. We'll see Iron die. No, he is tanky enough to survive that fight and to back and TP back to the lane.
Yeah, and you talked about the fact that Caitlyn's side can't really push up, and there's a big reason for that, and that is vision control. Pakistan right now only has a vision score of 3, whereas in that test in front have been working together to make sure that those 2 bushes, the tri-bush and the river bush, are both cleared out. What that means is that whenever Caitlyn and Zyra push up, they don't have the vision, and so they're very easily cut out if they're that far out of the lane. It means they can't pressure the turret. It's smart play by them, and it led to essentially what happened, where Necrotis was able to get a lead for himself and wasn't pressured because they just couldn't pressure about the vision.
The Nut goes in, it catches nothing. I mean, Rival, they've got the saving grace in Aggressor. You've said it enough times that Syndra's got the advantage in this lane, and they use the spike well. I'm saying that there could be a big play bot lane here.
No, big play. This hook hits on the Syndra, but the TP comes in response. The nice finish prison, and the Fresh dies in that situation. Will something happen? But nice and the solo kill.
Aggressor is nutty. You were talking about Lordio being the best mid in the league, but Aggressor, he has took this matchup and he has done what I could not with it. He has completely took advantage of what has happened here. He's 3-1 that right now. Great flash out of there. Damn, and they're going to get a dragon for their rewards. Revival doing well for themselves. However, Mojo was able to get the first brick in the top side because of that, and so it's a lot more even than we would expect.
The difference between last game and this game is the fact that Blueberry Haze wants to join the team rather than get the 1v1 advantage that he did last game. So I think taking that trade is okay. I think The fact that Aguita got that kill is going to be huge for that matchup. He's now sitting on almost 1,000 gold lead. In fact, it is now a 1,000 gold lead. And it's also going to stop the Tristana scaling. If Sion can join the team fights, it means that Tristana's not in a 4v4 situation, but a 4v5 situation. And that's only going to mean that Inequix is going to struggle a little bit more. But it's going to be a nice little Rift Tower pick up from Team Elite, just going to answer that Dragon play on the reset by Revival. Now what do they do with it? They've got the Tristana for Siege with the Rift Herald.
There's engaged on the Nico from the Zetroni. Will Nico survive? Yeah, the ultimate comes off with the shield. They're on to knock both up, and the Zetroni dies off the Wellington. Will the Syndra also die? Wellington only comes off. Is that enough? No, it isn't enough to kill the Syndra.
Inequitas wants it.
Inequitas comes in. With the rock jump.
No, he's still down, he's still down.
Support. And he dies. Shut down for the Tristana, and even more gold into her pocket. And the turret shot killed for the show. So also a kill for the Syndra, which is now 5-2 and could carry this game for Revival.
And where is everyone else? There's a Rift Herald being popped mid. Problem is, Villae, Hayes and Caitlyn both in the side lane. There's no one there to respond. They get 2 turrets in the mid lane because of that play. Sure, Arishan played it well, got himself a good few kills, but the problem is, he goes down, there's no one there to help him, and the mid turret just gets pushed to oblivion. Great macro play there by Team Elite to notice that, get the Rift Herald popped, push down to turrets for pretty much free.
That is 2 games in a row now that Team Elite have made a play mid and Paxo has been too late to the response, and Team Elite get a big advantage of it. Blueberry Hayes was probably right to stay because he was able to get the turret from it, and I don't think him being there would have made a difference to the first turret, but Paxo definitely could have helped save the second, at least to deter the wave and stop the push. And that's a little bit unlucky because I think that just amplifies that big advantage that Team Elite have in the bot lane. Paxo though had a great tournament so far. He's got a champion which can potentially do work in the late game if he makes it there. He's got a lot to prove in this series because he's so far not being graded as one of the top 80 carries, and this is the game where he's got a chance to prove it. But Necris, he's looking at DD right now. He's looking at DD and saying, I want that booty. I want Jugger to be compliment me as much as he compliments DD. That's what Necris is saying right now. And he's certainly in the realm of deserving it. 4-man bot, this could be another play for another turret.
And to be fair, the Trigger hype train is a scary one to be on because you have no idea where that's actually going. But they are going to knock down that bot tier 1, and also the gold lead now in bot lane is insane. You've just got 2.2k gold already as a lead for Inequitas over Paxo. He has a level advantage in this match that was supposed to be an incredibly hard one for Inequitas to play out. The only real shining light on Revival's team right now is this top lane push that's going really well for them, and also Aguita's Syndra. He's been playing this pick incredibly well. The problem is that a Syndra can only kill 1 target.
Nice E from the Syndra, but not enough damage to kill the Nico, so she survives.
Yeah,
we get to a point where compositions play a big factor. We've got the Throne on Thresh. It's going to definitely be a lot harder to execute in the late game, where Zyra is going to consistently output damage with the more AP that she builds. We've got the fact that Wavelad is going to be much more reliable engaged than I think the Ornn will be. Obviously being long range engaged rather than Sejuani, who's going to jump on the backline with it. Again, we'll see how they look to execute it. And again, the Sion a lot better in the team fights than the Renekton will be. I think there's a big chance here that Revival aren't out of this one, despite the fact that Team Elite have had such a strong showing in the early game and the huge advantage that Inequix has already got. I mean, look at this pressure with the push. This is what we needed to see in laning phase, Paxlow. It's 19 minutes, 20 minutes. Do it 10 minutes earlier. But it's nice to see, and Revival getting straight back into this one. Only 2,000 gold behind, and the majority of that is in the bot lane. As it goes, I think Aguita's got a big, capable chance of taking this one by the scruff of the neck and carrying it home.
The big thing I want to look at, Revival can't play reactive now. They have to be able to be proactive, getting pushes from themselves, making plays. Because the problem is, the longer this game goes on, the scarier and scarier Inequitas becomes. And he's already 4-on-1. He's already got 2 items. It's only going to be a matter of time before he picks up an IE and starts shredding through anyone that comes near him. Even that Sion is going to be melting at the look of Tristana, and so they need to play these next few minutes impeccably. They need to get a good snowball going, they need to trigger a good fight.
Nice took by the Zetroni, but nice even to prevent any follow-up. And the Fury is dead. Nicely ultimate, but it isn't enough to get out the fight. Inequitas gets engaged on, but he can heal and rocket jump away to prevent his death. But that's 2 kills for Revival and an Infernal Drake.
And that is exactly. As soon as I say they need to make a good play, they go out, make a good play. Revival almost reading my mind there. Great play by them to get themselves a good engage. Lordio has just not had a good game right now. Axe has played incredibly well on the Syndra, and Lordio, he's had to face the brunt of it. And Negris actually, you know, he wants to jump over, but he's not going to.
But I have to say that E from Syndra saved the team fight for Revival. I think if that E didn't come through, that Revival would have lost the team fight and lost the second Infernal Drake. Do you think that's true, or do you think it could have been also going for Revival if the Syndra E didn't come through?
I think that injury was clutch because he saw how many people. I think it's 4 members on the enemy team, and it meant that all the people who were funneling into that choke point, they got a little bit more time to get in range to do that damage, and it meant that Paxo could get a position in the Dragon Pit to get those really nice killing autos across the pit and away from danger. Very smart play from Revival to position themselves up like that, and the Syndra E just ends up winning them the fight. They're able to get 2 picks. Unfortunately, they're still sitting on a good 750 gold bounty. So I imagine players like Agritar are currently frothing at the mouth at the opportunity to possibly kill an Equitas, but he is a Tristana, and Tristanas are so slippery. You've got Buster Shot, you've got Flash, you've got your jump. There's so many options that Equitas has to keep himself safe, and it seems that this game he hasn't had a moment where he's jumped in a little bit blindly yet. It might still happen. It's a big thing that happens to all Tristana mains out there. Sometimes you just want to jump in, and it's a big risk, but if an Equitas doesn't make a fatal mistake like that, it's going to be so hard for Revival to do a lot.
I think the next 5 minutes are going to be huge. If we can press X on chat, just on the game, just see how much gold each champion's got. It's actually Renekton that's got more gold than the Tristana. That's a 15k gold lead against a Scion. That's the lane that they can look to punish. Just play a little bit safe. As long as the Tristana survives, Renekton can punish that 1v1. Team Elite is still in control, I think, even though these fights haven't been going in their favour. They just need to play it smart. Keep Tristana alive, win the 1v1, and don't get baited by a Baron. Don't do a Centurion. Please don't.
Well, I mean, Revival might look towards this Baron pit. It seems like they've set that vision to that. They might be looking to see if Team Elite will bite on this one, but I don't think they will. And just really smart about it. They know that it would take Revival a decent amount of time to take down that Baron pit, so they would know if they were all peculiarly missing from the map for a long amount of time. But they're so big now. There's no real pressure, and Motojo now able to get a good engage off possibly.
He's got the Black Cleaver and he's got the Merc Treads. He should win this one hard.
Sion can walk away. Now tries to Q the Renekton, but Renekton just walks out of the queue.
For what Team Elite have done right here is what I don't like. That fight that Motojo just did then drew 5 members bot lane. The stun lands!
Stun lands the team! The burst! The Nico flash! Onto the Caitlyn! And nice Nico ultimate!
Oh, the flame!
But the flame saved them! And now the K is in the hole! To kill the Renekton, no, but the Caitlyn dives from the Renekton. Really great play from the Renekton. Is that enough? No, it isn't enough. The Renekton dies of the Syndra, and even more kills for the Syndra, and the really nice fight from the Syndra to kill the Tristana before the fight even started.
These mid laners are poggers, boys! Agritar pops off, gets rid of the Tristana. Lordio's like, you do that, I'll show you one better. Takes on both Paxo and Fatman Gandhi, but Agritar's still full health and wins the team fight. This is the game that I wanted to see. This is Agritar versus Lordio. This is a fight for #1 mid. Let's go, boys. Baron's up. All members of both teams are alive, except for Renekton, but we'll ignore that. Let's go, boys. I want to see another fight. That was awesome.
Yeah, and there's the strength of Essentia. We talked about how she can only really pick one target in these mid to late game fights. But the thing is that if you can kill an Equitas in these fights, what are Team Elite going to do? I mean, sure, Lordio can get a good ult off, but there's only so much he can do in that point. Great dodge by Wavy that there. Heartened he went there. But right now, Team Elite, they're able to get a decent amount of Baron vision going for themselves, but they can't, I don't think they're going to start at least because they don't know where the rest of Revival are. So they're only able to sweep out, start pushing out the mid lane. Equitas. He's not going to be happy with dying there, but he's still a huge threat. He's actually, I think he's going for a QSS before his Infinity Edge, which is quite smart, because he wants to make sure that if he does get stunned again by the Aquita, this time he doesn't get caught out, he doesn't die instantly.
Now again,
what happened 2 minutes ago? Please don't.
Oh, the thing is that they know they're doing the dragon. It's looking like they're going to try to engage a fight here. Oh.
the Siren when it comes off.
Oh!
Nice! Sign ultimate! And the Thresh is dead as a sacrifice slam to prevent any more deaths. And now Revival goes for the Baron and tries to take it.
Yeah, they're looking like they're going to be heading over to the Baron. Pass on, because that stun!
Lord Yo gets the...
Oh, Fabinganino!
Oh. Nice E from Syndra, nice stopwatch to prevent any more follow-up stuns. But that isn't enough, the decimating smash finishes the Nico off.
Revival fucking winning, boys, let's go!
Agrita is playing insane right now. Fat Man Gandhi, that flash root was insane by him. For Revival, these mid-game fights are being played impeccably. They're getting all the things they do, but here comes the other one!
It comes off! How does it Tristana? The Tristana is dead! But so is dead, Tristana!
Tristana's not alive yet!
Yes!
It's still alive!
Is the backline! Is it enough? Yeah! The Syra is dead now! The Syndra gets hooked!
Weaving!
Tristana can kill everyone! But that fight was really impressive by Team Elite!
Oh, the problem is they don't consider the death time as they try and force it down, but the problem is half the members of Team Elite are back up by the time that they're doing Baron, so they get punished for that, and now Team Elite, they're going to take the Baron for themselves.
And Necro survived on like 10 health and just went back in and won the team fight. Nice hook from Thrawn on the Agrita, on the Syndra. I don't give a crap anymore. Team Elite, man, they just saved this game from being a definite loss to always a definite win. What a team fight! This game has been one for the ages. I'm hyped, boys. That second Inferno comes in clutch.
Holy moly, this is gonna do one for my heart. Oh my goodness gracious me. But the thing is now, it's still relatively even. You look at the gold lead, sure, Team Elite do have 4K on the side of Revival, but the thing is, we're coming up to the later stages of the game now, and the later this game goes, the less and less that gold matters. And the thing is that still, Tristana does not have her Infinity Edge. She doesn't have that big third item. So still, Revival can still feel quite good about themselves. The thing is that right now, Paxos has put behind, but that mid lane, Agrita has played out of his mind this whole series. It's about whether he can get onto an Agritas and assassinate him before he can output all of his damage like we saw last fight. Holy moly.
Gotta defend the Baron buff. Just got a turtle. There's no need to step ahead. There's no neutral objective to take. Game is not over yet. The team fight in composition of Revival has worked so well this game, except for that one fight where they lost Baron. Doesn't mean the game's over. We saw in the games where Centurion Academy were against 100 Cobra that Barons went both ways. It definitely didn't mean the end of the game. They've just got to play it safe. Don't lure Team Elite into an easy fight to take. Just let them play safe, and don't make them force for any turrets yet. Just focus the waves. Don't force anything stupid, and Revival is still in this one. There's no need to panic just yet.
Well, no need to panic just yet, but here's the thing. Right now they have the winning match at bot side, so Renekton is very easily going to be able to push that one out. And so they kind of have to worry, can Blue Baby Haze stay there for the highest amount of time? And they also have to try and defend a push from a red buff in Equitas with Baron buff. You don't want to deal with red buff, Baron buff, Tristana on a turret. That is disgusting. It is abhorrent. If I may.
On the Siren, will the damage be enough for the Renekton? It seems like it. But no, the Renekton decides to disengage, so the Siren can walk away for free.
It's going to be very close. Front spy down the wood though. Oh, get stunned!
Nice stun by Syndra and the burst down of Thresh.
Yeah, that unleashed power, big cooldown. He's not going to have that up for another solid minute. They need to try and capitalize on this now, though. Noctis can feel a little bit safer in his mind, knowing that Syndra ult is not up.
Oh, Joe missed everything. Oh, we raged in it.
It is... yeah, they're missing more than England missing penalty shootouts usually. Jesus Christ.
I was thinking then, if Moto Joe just presses ult, he's definitely got the kill, but I think he misses Q, his stun and everything. But, Delight's still got his own ult. There's still a play that can be made. There's not a huge tank that's there with the top side at the minute, except for Wavy, but he's in the back and he gets the stun!
Nice stun up! And the Caitlyn is dead! By the cut of Tristana! And will that be enough to take the turret? We see a turret drop down in the bot lane.
And now
Nice QSS.
Wavy's got ult, QSS is down, Wavy wants it. He feels a big outplay.
Agra's just behind actually, but he is spotted out by a ward. They know Agta's around and they're just going to rotate off of that. They know there's no reason to risk a fight there. And the big thing now, they can take this dragon next, and I believe that if they take this dragon, I don't know what the spawn time is like, but I think the next one will be an Elder. So they might want to get that off the board straight away and see if they can force an Elder. However, I would say actually, Revival, you want to get rid of this dragon as fast as you can. Oh no!
For the trash! And another kill for Agata, and the Fresh was out of position there. He tried to go for a play onto the Syndra, but it didn't work out.
Baron's expired. Game's back at a neutral. That was all Revival needed to do. They didn't lose an inhib, they didn't even lose an inhib tower. That's fine. That is well played from Revival as far as I'm concerned, given the nature of that team fight. Now it's about the next one. Now it's about the next team fight. As you say, this is most likely gonna, it's definitely gonna give an Elder Dragon next. Once this Cloud Dragon gets taken, that's where the next team fight will probably be, after the Baron actually. And that's when the game's gonna be decided.
See,
this is big. Agrit has played so well this game.
The thing is, what I like what they're doing here, they're not taking the dragon. They know that Revival have a better team fighting comp. It's just that they know that if they let Mojo just push aside, then that's much better for them. They need to make sure Revival does not. Look, they delay this dragon as much as possible, because that Elder Dragon is exactly what Revival want to see in the map, because it means that they can either split up and make sure they can trade either an Elder for a Baron or a Baron for an Elder, or they can force a fight. And with a Caitlyn, with a Zyra, with a Syndra, with a Sejuani and a Sion, you don't want to force a fight against that team. You would rather just let Mojo split push. But now they have took down the dragon. I do think the next one is an Elder buff.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So Revival will be able to play around that come the 35-minute mark, but it's going to be a while until that area comes. It might just be a case of pushing in lanes when you can and just kind of turtle out until that point comes.
We've both been in this situation.
Oh,
the pressure is building. Every single macro decision matters. Where do you place your ward? Where do you use your sweepers? What lane do you go to? Do you push that wave or do you put the pressure on Baron? You don't know what to do. It gets incredibly stressful. One Sejuani ultimate, one Ornn ultimate, one Tristana rocket jump, one Agrita flank. It's all played a massive impact in this game, and it's going to come down to one more about who gets this Baron buff and who gets this Elder buff. And I can only imagine that the game ends then, unless we have another replay of Undercover versus Academy. Centurion Academy, get me on all confused.
and let's not forget too, this is a game 3 scenario. In Undercover versus CNA, you only saw a game 1 and a game 2. That wasn't a game 3. This wasn't both teams on their match point, but that is exactly what it is now. One of these teams will be knocked out and won't make the finals. One of these teams will be taking on 100 Cobra, and the pressure will mount. We're 33 minutes in. It's all down to these players. Can they make the final play to get the match winning for them? Or will they make the play that ends up losing the match for their team? It's the pressure that builds. Do you want to go in for that? It plays around these players' head and their mental, and you can be so damn nervous when you're trying to enter these 40, 50-minute skirmishes that are going to be happening anytime soon.
What I like is Agwata's getting in a position where he can use his stun combo to try and find a pick. There's not really massive punish that's coming from the Thresh Hook, and Delight, the natural state of the Ornn ultimate isn't fast enough to be able to pull a trigger like the Sejuani ultimate. Whereas on the side of Team Elite, there's not a similar way that you can catch out someone like the Agrita. They're relying on an Ornn ultimate or a Thresh Hook. And it's like it's got to be more premeditated than whereas Revival can throw out little stuns here or there, see if they can land something, a Zyra route, a Caitlyn trap, something like that. And I think that's going to give them these little bit of advantages when it comes to this kind of Baron dance that tends to happen at this point in the game. But yeah, it's only going to take one hook, or one Nico stun or route, or whatever you want to call it, for this game to flip on its head.
Oh, they're going to try and cheese rush. They are spotted out on the ward. This could end badly, but thank God they sweep it. Oh, that would have been a sad way for the game to go. But they're sweeping out the vision still around the Baron pit. Possible catch out by Wave of that, but he's just going to walk out of there very nicely. It's a great Baron dance by them, and right now, I mean, Blueberry has done a decent job just holding off Motojo. being this tanky Scion, clearing out the wave. He doesn't need to go in, he's just holding him off. 1-1-4, he's actually held this lane fairly stable. To be perfectly honest with him, he's done a good job. But there could be a fight chicken! Never mind. Jesus. I'm sat here biting my nails right now, that's how tense this game is, holy moly.
That game is so tense, I'm standing now always up because I'm so hyped, and one team fight can decide who goes to the final.
Every summoner spell, every ultimate, it's up. The Baron is up. The Elder is up in 1 minute and 15 seconds on the dot now. And
the flash! Oh! But Zeno can flash out! Oh, nice stun! And Fjord is dead! No, so the Caitlyn is also dead! No, she survives! Let's stopwatch! But the Renekton kills Dominic himself!
He's gone!
He goes in, he's gone!
Almost two!
Will that be enough? But now, Renekton flashes onto the Zyra, but that is enough. He says no! Zyra is dead! And that's it!
He's still got GA! He's still got GA!
He still has GA! He goes into the GA!
Oh my goodness!
He gets even away! That was really nice play by the Joe, and he carried the team fight, and it goes on.
Oh my goodness, I thought that was the game over. Inequitas goes down, Ludio goes down, that should be it, but Motojo plays it incredibly well. He takes down Agrita, he takes down Gandhi, he takes down Paxlo, I believe. It was great, fantastic play by Motojo to start out that fight, has the GA and he uses it correctly. Holy moly.
And there you see why Joe picked the Wellington and why it is one of his favorite champs.
Okay, so now 37 minutes and Drigger's gonna flame. Paxlo's got flash, Inequitas has got flash and heal, and Agrita's got barrier. That could have ended so much differently if people knew how to press DNF. Jesus Christ, that was close.
And it isn't over yet because now the Elder buff is up, and guess who's nowhere near that Elder buff? It is Revival. They are just going to look to start it. Elite know that if they do try and force a play, they will be spotted out. They know that 3 people are coming down the mid side, and I believe they do have some vision set up in that top side. This could very well be the ending fight. Here comes another wall spot!
Oh, it's huge! It's huge!
Oh my god.
That's an ultimate!
Eyes on Motojo, can he do it again? I don't think he can!
He can't do it! And the Elder will go down, and that will probably be the game.
Elder Drake go mid. That has to be the call. Just Elder Drake, just go to the mid lane, push it out as fast as you can. Revival have just struck fear into the hearts of Team Elite. Their undefeated streak may just be over, but it isn't going to be the case. The death timers are too short. They're going to go up, get the Baron buff, start pushing it out. This game, 38 minutes in, and it is not over.
Blueberry Haze is a monster! That ultimate into the Q-Knock Cup. Goodbye, Lordio. Goodbye, Inequitas. This game is mine, is what he says. And he takes them all down. They get the Elder, they get the Baron. But the game, as you said, Byron, is not over yet. All inhibitors are still up. All inhibitor towers are still up. But they're in a position to blow everything on this next fight. Sejuani ultimate is coming up soon. Sion ultimate is up now. This is what the fight is going to all be about. Fantastic play. With Elder and Baron, it's only going to be even greater from them. Jesus, that was a great turnaround. Fantastic reactions and fantastic execution on the team fight, which could have gone very badly given the situation of the location of the players when that Elder Dragon was started by Team Elite. Pressure is on now, boys. The pressure is on. The underdog story is here, and it's about to happen if Team Elite don't say anything about it.
And the question is now, where do the teams go? Revival know they have the Elder buff. They have the Baron buff. They need to put pressure on now. This is their moment. But if they overstep, it could mean the end of them. Will the pressure get to them? Or will they make the play that secures them the victory? They know they can take a fight right now. They all have Elder buff. One misstep from Inequitas. One misstep from Bordio. One great engage from Blueberry again. One unleashed power, I believe, from the Syndra. And that will be it. As they're cracking the inhibitor.
The inhibitor will probably get down. Will we see a fight? No, Revival just gets out and tries to go for the top lane inhibitor.
They don't want to let Inequitas survive. They don't want to pull the trigger unless they get the Inequitas or the Lordio. and they're playing very, very safe. They're just letting them have these objectives. They've got the Elder, it's going to time out eventually. Just how much can they survive until it does wear out? That's a big question that Team Elite are answering right now. This is a team that is undefeated in professional series, and they are about to lose a game to Revival if they don't do something soon.
Horn!
No, the ultimate comes. Will there be
It
a...
misses!
No, it
Delight!
misses.
Delight!
The pressure comes to Lodio very low!
Nice damage of Syndra. Lodio is really low. Will that be enough to secure the game?
It very much might be. The inhib is getting knocked down. The pressure is on for both these teams. Delight, you can see he starts to really crumble, missing that one ultimate. They're just going to look bot. They're going to go for the triple inhib. They're just choking out Team Elite here. They're not forcing anything on them. They know that Team Elite can't do anything about this. They're just going to walk down, now get the bot lane turret.
They're looking at the draft, they're looking at the Ornn jungle, they're looking at the Thresh support, they're thinking, were we too overconfident? Did we overestimate Revival? Was this game meant to be a free win? Well, no, it wasn't. Revival have shown up this game, and Agrita has firmly planted himself as one of, if not the, screw it, I'll say it, he is the best mid in the
no, he
goes in!
Now life on the Nico. Then Nico got bursted down. Will that be enough?
Eyes on an Aquitas.
Eyes on an Aquitas, yeah. He gets burst down by the Nico. Nice shot and work. Wellington goes into the GA. Now the ornament comes off. Will it miss again? No! Get knocked up 3 people in Aquitas now. With the one. He goes in. Backslow with the attack.
Kill!
For
He spends this whole game silent, and right at the end, triple kill for himself. What great play from Revival! They win this game. They take down the undisputed champions of Team Elite. They get that unofficial champion belt. They're heading to the finals, and they're gonna take 100 Cobra to a final series.
And the underdog story is real. The undefeated were defeated. And we have a new best mid laner, I assume.
And everything goes to game 1. The big DDoS. No, I'm joking. It was a great game. It was a great series. We only got to see 2 games, but there were 2 fantastic games. I think you've got to give credit to people like Inequitas who really popped off. Then you've got to look at people like Agrita. You've got to say, for the whole series, for me, has to be the MVP. He played really well in the first game, despite being a little bit unfortunate as it came to some of those ultimates. But in this second game, he clawed tooth and nail, 1v9 by the skin of his teeth to make sure that Revival did not lose this series, and damn straight did he do it. That was fantastic play from him. You've got to give him all the credit in the world. And ultimately, Revival came out in the end as the finalists.
My goodness, I mean, I have to face this going to the finals now. I'm not looking forward to that matchup. He played like an absolute god on that Syndra. I don't know what we're going to do about that, but you know, Paxstyle, Fatman, Gandhi, they were struggling in that bot side, but at the end, they pull through. Gandhi on the Zyra in these team fights was huge. The junk, like, Wavy had a decent job too, and Blueberry Haze, some of those engages were absolutely mad. Revival as a team came in as a very big question mark for a lot of people, and they've just made the finals. 100 Cobra, similar story on the other side of the bracket, complete question mark. These big unknown teams are taking down 7DSs, are taking down Team Elites. The rest of the league's gone now. It's just these 2 members fighting it out. Bearing in mind, the winner ends up getting their spot as the 2nd seed in the snake draft that's going to be happening for groups, and they get to pick which teams go where. Very, very important match coming into the Cell 2 finals, which will be happening very shortly.
So to put some firm announcements on the location of where each team's place in both shells put together, Team Elite automatically had assumed first after their win in Shell 1 and the semi-final performance in the Shell 2. So they're going to have the number 1 seed. Number 2 seed is all down to who wins this game in the final between 100 Cobra and Revival. Really well played. Hopefully we can bring someone in for an interview from Revival, because damn, they must be hyped. No one saw their win come in, and they truly deserved it after that game 3 performance. If Agrita wants to come, that would be obviously the number 1 shout. You just got to let us know somewhere, and we'll try and pull him through, or anyone else from Revival. Message in general will get you through. But Jesus, that was a great game. Byron, first to you, how are you feeling?
Wow, I mean, that was a heck of a series. I came into this game, I'll be honest, I was expecting a Team Elite 2-0, just for the class they've shown very much. And Revival, a lot of people put it down to the case of they had a quote-unquote easy bracket. I think they've just proved pretty much everyone has said that wrong. They are a really good team. They've only dropped now, one game up until the finals. That's actually the same as 100 Cobra. Only 100 Cobras dropped one game too. So it's going to be such a hype matchup. I'm really looking forward to playing this team, I'll be honest. But props to them right now. This is their moment, and they have done incredibly well to take down Team Elite. Really, really well.
Aguilar has agreed to the interview. Hopefully, Impress can pull him through soon, as I've not got access to do so. But this is good. This is going to be the big mid lane matchup. Byron Villa versus Aguilar. The worst mid laner in VL makes it to the finals, and here he is. No, he's not. Yeah, he is. Aguilar, unmute yourself, boy. There he is.
BB does not have the role, so I believe we need someone to quickly unmute him. Oh, there he is. Okay, Aguilar. First question, of course. How is everyone feeling after that game?
Oh, baby, everybody's hella hyped. Jesus Christ. Are you insane, actually? The sign alt and everything, it was really intense.
Oh, man. We were sat on the edge of our seats watching that now.
So I've got
What
to
does
say,
it mean? Oh, wait, I'll let Edric say.
The Baron went. The Baron went.
Oh.
The team fight fell, and Team Elite looked like they were in the driving seat. You get the pick on Thresh, you neutralise their threat, and Renekton can't get the kill down bot lane. How much fucking pressure was on you then? Because it looked like the game was lost. After such a back and forth series, how were you feeling in that moment?
Yeah, I was literally just looking for picks, and we tried to fight for vision in our own jungle to try to make picks, but we were really scared of them just forcing down top lane with the Tristana and everything.
Then you pulled it back.
Yeah,
Sion
apparently.
presses R at the Elder Dragon. He presses Q. Big man knock up, and in comes Aguilar with a stun, and boom! Everyone goes down. How was that moment? Did you think you'd won it just then at that moment?
That was actually the most insane thing. Like, we just wombo comboed, and everybody on the team just shouted. Like, Wavy was going mad, like, go, 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 go! And Blueberry was just, ulting away, and Pax was quiet because he was focusing. But that was, like, so intense. That was really intense. That was, like, the most hyped for the entire game, I think.
But now, you face 100 Cobra in the finals of the Shell 2. As Baron said, no one saw this matchup coming. Team Elite versus 7 Deadly Sins, they said. Except me, who thought Centurion. Big yikes. But here it is. 100 Cobra. Revival. No one saw it coming. Aguilar versus Byron Villa in the mid lane. Now best mid laner in VL. So says me. Versus the worst mid laner in VL. So said me about a month ago. How are you boys feeling? Aguilar, I'm going to come to you first. Any trash talk, any condolences, any to Team Elite, or any predictions for the game against 100 Cobra? How are you feeling?
Oh, the game's going to be tense, I think. Like, if Wavy can make some insane calls like he did these games, it's going to be good. Also, it's going to be really interesting if I am even going to play the finals, since I'm heading out to Miami. So I'm going to have to see if I can even find, like, an internet cafe or anything.
I mean, how long are you out there for? Because we can reschedule.
I'm there until the 3rd of February for like the week.
I mean, to be fair, I would rather if we could actually bring it to like the 4th, like the Monday after.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Because I really want to play you. I don't want to face the submit. I want to play you because you look like probably I'm gonna put it out there, but the way you played that series, you look like the best mid. I want to see how I fare up against you because my whole style is about shutting down anyone I'm against in a case of like I'm not letting you get ahead. Sure, I think you're going to go even with me and you might get a site lead. I don't think you're going to be getting kills on me though. I don't see that happen. At least not until the mid game.
That's going to be
just
really...
solo kills Lordio. Aguilar just solo kills Lordio and Baron's there like, you ain't going to solo kill me. Mate, you can't take that.
That was hella tense. When he flashed over, I think we were both really low in like mid game, and he flashed over from his side of the wall into the lion bush, and then he ulted, and that was really tense as well. But yeah, Lordio, props to you, man. You played really well as well. Especially coming through with that DDoS or whatever we're gonna call it. Like, yeah, you played really well, man. Yeah, props. But yeah, 100. I'm looking forward to it and really want to schedule so we can actually get the game done. That'd be insane.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives like a week gap to almost hype things up, more content to get fired out, you know. But I am really looking forward to playing you because, like I said, you're the best. I would say you're one of the best bids in the league right now, if not the best. And the players I've played against, being Wakala, Chewy, Navarian, and Crunk, whilst they are incredibly good mid laners, they're not known for their high laning pressure. Whereas you just take all the gold in your team. You like go for the carry, you proper try and stable lane. And I couldn't think of a more opposite matchup than me versus you. If you look at the stats, you have like insane gold share, insane damage percent. Then you have me, and I take absolutely no gold from my team whatsoever. I do nothing. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a good game, man.
But also, one other point I want to make up: proximity warning, aka I'm too stoned, and blueberry haze are actually in real life friends.
Who?
So. Our top laner and your top laner, both IRL, but they're IRL friends. So
shit!
That top lane matchup is something I really want to look at because there's definitely going to be some banter going on in their DMs and.
They're
Right,
going to
boys,
chug each other.
before we close the stream, for the last time before the finals, I'm going to give you each one more line to say. One last thing to say on Valanth League official Twitch channel before we call the stream an end. I'm going to come to you first after your win. Beat to the crowd. What are you saying?
Underdog story, baby.
Underdog story, baby. No need to say no more. Byron, the response.
Worst bid in VL makes finals. Wow.
And that's it, boys. Thank you very much for watching. There'll be content all week, believe you me. Hopefully, we get that reschedule in place. I'm sure Impress will be fine with it for the 4th of Feb. So stay tuned for that. Boys, thank you very much for watching. Revival versus 100 Cobra in a final of the Shell 2. No one saw it coming. It's official Valanth League. Over and out.